Welcome back to our final segment of Real Estate Talk. Heather, I don't want to go. I like talking about real estate. Man, our friend Heather Anderson, Real Estate Concierge, she really has, just got back from Thanksgiving and I got to see some of my relatives. And they call it a give a stuff button, right? Mm-hmm. And what I want to bring to our real estate buyers and sellers, because it's uncharted waters for most people, is someone they can trust. And as the host of this program, you can trust Real Estate Concierge. Very, very adamant about teaching people. 855-732-6700. How many assets you got to have? And what in the heck is PMI? And let's try to do this here in the next couple of minutes. Call Heather, and you'll get a really long tutorial on this. I've been doing it for 25 years. I can tell you what PMI and asset is in my sleep, but I'm going to let you do that now. And maybe, I know this, someone's leaving this hour better off on the topic of real estate.
Hey, that's my goal. That's my goal. But I thought I'd tell our friends out there today about assets. So assets are kind of like, I think, the most important, but the least discussed. So there's kind of, think about a table with four legs. You've got debit, income, credit, and assets. And people usually bucket those two things by saying debit and credit and then income and assets. So we want to talk about assets piece of that, all right? Typically let me break that down a little bit more, okay? There's typically about 4 asset classes, all right? There's business, real estate, paper, like stocks, and then commodities, like oil and gas and silver and gold and cotton.
Got you.
All right. So
what if you don't have any assets?
Well,
you're not dead in the water, are you?
No. There's definitely we can.
But they help.
They do help.
Oh, I got you.
They do help. So assets include so for real estate, for example, also, your cars, your boats, your checking, your savings account, etc. Lenders look at your assets to make sure you have the money needed for the down payment. All right, which the down payment, I'm sure everybody knows that, but just in case, that's the purchase price of the home less the loan amount. That amount is called the down payment. Okay.
And just real quickly, the big 4 on conventional lending is VA, USDA, conventional, and FHA. None of those products, matter of fact, 2 of them are 100% financing. And the other 2, FHA is 3.5%. And conventional is 3 or 5% down, depending on what your credit score is. So, hence, we got a perfect storm going on.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Get in touch with Heather, 855-732-6700. Go ahead.
That's right.
Carry on, Maureen.
So yes, sir, yes, Sergeant. So we talk about assets, right? We want to help people build assets. Real estate will be an asset.
Yes, it will.
From day one, people talk about, I own this house. We like to educate people on what that means too. Like, you technically don't own it from day one. I mean, you do. In Texas, you own the title, but you have a lien against it for 96.5% if you're doing FHA. So I want to teach people and educate people how to be prepared for those things that go wrong. Like we talked about kind of with a debt to income ratio, right? So assets ties into that too, because we're building an asset. An asset is something I own, I have rights to. I can resell this thing, right? People talk about a car, for example, as a depreciating asset, right? But there's still a point where, like, how far can it depreciate? Or once I pay it off, what is it worth? A house is an asset where as you pay down the mortgage, you own more of the house, thus being an asset that grows for you.
The whole thing you're wanting to do with the mortgage, Heather, and correct me if I'm wrong, is when you own an asset that is appreciating, then there's a gap in there. And if you're financing that piece of property, the whole goal is over time to widen the gap between what's owed on the mortgage and what the value of that home is. And that gap in there is called equity. Equity is what changes people's lives to the good.
Absolutely. And that's what creates your asset to have value. Equity is the value of that asset if we're dealing with a home. And so the bank, I mean, again, we said this earlier, the bank is giving money away at 4%, 3.5%, 5% for investors, 4.5% for investors, giving it away, Willie. I don't think people really understand the brevity of this. I know it's like on the radio and the news and in the, you know, what's it called? Water cooler conversation at the office.
A water cooler?
Yeah, where they go and stand.
Have a fireside chat.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll go with a water cooler.
Yeah, so we talk about that, but again, what does that really mean? Like, go to Zillow Mortgage, okay, and do a comparison and put in an interest rate at 4% on $200,000 with 5% down, and then do the same thing at $200,000 with 5% down, and do a 10% interest rate, and a 9% interest rate, and an 8% interest rate, because we will be there. It's 100% guaranteed. We will see high interest rates like that in our lifetime. When are they going to happen? We don't know. But interest rates are going up. It is guaranteed. So lock it in now. Get the purchasing power now. And when you do that exercise, you'll see what a difference that interest rate makes on that same $200,000 home. It means you buy less of a house. So you want to take advantage of that right now and build your assets at cheaper money. Okay? All right.
Now tell me what private mortgage insurance is.
Okay, cool. So our fourth financial term, every home buyer should know, private mortgage insurance, also known as PMI. And that is basically what a bank, or the lender, if you will, the lender requires that you take out like an insurance policy, okay, that you pay for, you the buyer pay for, if you put less than 20% down on a home or have less than 20% equity in a home. All right, so if you put 5% down on a home, the bank is insuring that other 15% if a default occurs, a default like a short sale or a foreclosure. It's like taking a homeowner's insurance policy. It's just a lender required insurance policy that you pay for through your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance payment. You don't have a choice. It is 150,000% required, and you have to have it, okay? So here's something kind of cool about that, though. If you do a conventional loan, I'm going to talk about FHA in a minute here, but conventional loan, after about 7 to 8 years, if you put 5% down, it will naturally fall off. Isn't that cool? Okay, now you can pay more on your payment. And I teach people something about, it's a 13 payment plan year instead of 12 payments a year on your principal. I teach about a 13. I can get into that if anybody wants to call me or shoot me a text or email. But at any rate, if we just follow the normal 30-year fixed mortgage, 7 to 8 years it drops off. If you do an FHA loan, keep in mind you will pay private mortgage insurance for the life of the time you own that loan. So I want to talk to you about that, and we do a cost benefit analysis. And help people really understand what that means.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, one of the good people in our business, Heather Anderson, real estate concierge, get in touch with her. Sit down, take an hour out of your life, get to know the lady, and you'll have a friend in the real estate business. 855-732-6700, 855-732-6700. Great job today.
Thank you. Hope we made a difference to some of our friends.
Yeah, I think we did.
Cool.
I think we did. You can always call us, whatever the case may be. I said it in the beginning, you'll leave the hour better when you joined us. I think we accomplished that goal. 855-732-6700. Heather, I want to thank you. I'll see you next month, same time, same place.
Sounds great.
And I'm going to close this hour out by saying this. Remember, friend, relationships come and go with principles. And just like Heather Anderson in this business, principles are here to stay. And you really want to get a good real estate agent when you're dealing with buying or selling. You got to have one that has principles. And Heather Anderson does. 855-732-6700. Friend, that's a wrap. I'll see you tomorrow morning on 570 at 10 o'clock. And we'll have the Investment Real Estate Hour. You can always go out and check out WRL Holdings, LLC on Facebook or WillieLambright.com. All good stuff. Real estate changes people's lives to the good. Heather, thank you. That's a wrap. We're out. And when you joined us live in the studio, we got to start over, don't we?
No, it would actually still record.
The battery is low. For the love of God, Heather.